We've just docked in the most European city in North America, beautiful Quebec City. Today we're doing the ultimate loop from the Notre-Dame cathedrals to the heights of the Château Frontenac and the Citadel, down to the lively Petit Champlain and the historic old customs house. 30 stops, one epic day. Let's go exploring. The clock is ticking. And welcome to Quebec City, and it's a lovely day. 5 degrees and the promise of sunshine all day. Currently recovering from yesterday's hop on hop off bus ride, and that's because on the way back I was actually at the rear of the bus and I feel as if I've had a least said about that the better. So let's have a look around the port and put that thought out of our head. We're here overnight as well, so lots of time to explore. We've always got tomorrow to fill in on anything that we may have missed. Disembarkation was super easy, a few more people than I expected. I just don't get this fascination with repurposed school buses. Anyway, the plan today is to self-explore, and my Google Maps is filled with landmarks. We were only on the school bus for 5 minutes. Thank goodness for small mercies. Inside the museum when we were here was Titanic, the human story exhibition. Outside you can create your own Titanic moment. Along this street, stone markers are set into the sidewalk, each labelled with a century. They represent the approximate position of the river's edge at that time, showing how far inland the St. Lawrence shoreline originally lay. These are the stone foundations of early colonial homes dating to the late 17th century. These buildings were part of a busy residential and commercial area, originally near the river. This immense mural brings the city's history to life, paying tribute to many of its notable figures. It was created by 12 artists from France and Quebec over a 9-week period. Its striking realism, layered historical periods and thoughtful integration of architecture, geography, seasonal changes and cultural communities make it captivating. There's an incredible amount to absorb every time you look at it. This 17th century area was a filming location for the 2002 Steven Spielberg film Catch Me If You Can, standing in for Montreal, France. Here in the historic cobblestone square is the secret printing factory where Leonardo DiCaprio's character, Frank Abagnale, is finally arrested by Tom Hanks in the movie's climax. Constructed in the late 17th century, Notre-Dame-des-Victoires is one of the oldest stone churches in North America. Its name means Our Lady of Victories, and it honours the French triumphs over the British and reflects both the colonial and religious pride. It's time to leave the lower town. We will return later. Now we will make it up a steep road to the upper town, the historic heart of the city, perched atop Cap de Mont, overlooking the St. Lawrence River. It's one of the oldest European settlements in North America and forms the upper section of Old Québec, contrasting with the lower town by virtue of its elevated position and fantastic views. Right now we're checking out Montmorency Park. It's at the top of the hill on the right hand side as you go up. It's in the heart of Quebec's upper town. Now this isn't just any park, it's actually a national historic site, brimming with centuries of history. So, I hear you ask, what makes it special? Well, back in the 17th century, Missionaries used to use this spot, and later it became the site of an episcopal palace. Fast forward a century and it was home to Parliament. For a century it served as the seat of several legislative bodies. Nearby, the Quebec Conference of 1864 took place, laying the groundwork for Canadian Confederation. So yes, this park is literally part of the story of modern Canada. This is where some of the most important decisions shaping Canada were made. After a fire destroyed the Parliament building in 1883, the site was transformed into a public park in 1898. Today, it's one of the few green escapes in the upper town. As you walk through, you'll spot historic plaques and monuments honouring various pioneers. Across the road from the park, we found a large complex of buildings which were undergoing a significant repair programme. This is the University of Laval, a public facility focused on stimulating learning, research and developing a creative environment. The university has over 60 departments. This one is focused on architecture. Okay, a quick stop off here because this building really stands out. It's right opposite the park and it's this old central post office which was built in the 1870s. Back then it would have been the heart of Quebec City's mail and federal services. This building is a perfect example of Second Empire style with its steep mansard roof, ornate stonework and dormer windows. A style that screams 19th century elegance and also authority. Alright, let's keep moving and see where the cobblestones take us. Neither of us are particularly religious, but we both love looking at churches. These beautiful historic places reflect a time, a place and a culture which gives travellers like us further insight into a region. Often built and furnished with the best that money at the time could buy, they're added to and changed over the years, reflecting changes in fortune and thinking. The Notre-Dame Cathedral with its stone facade, bell towers and detailed interiors make it a standout building in the upper town skyline. It's one of the oldest cathedrals in North America, being originally built in 1647, but it was then rebuilt after fires in 1682 and 1759. And today it combines French colonial charm with Baroque elegance. The cathedral isn't just beautiful, it's steeped in history. It survived the British conquest, fires and wars, and it's home to Canada's oldest religious artefacts, including the tomb of Saint Francois de Laval, the first bishop of what was then New France. Inside, the first thing you notice is the nave. It's a long central aisle that runs from the entrance to the sanctuary. It's flanked by side aisles on both sides, and each one is dotted with chapels dedicated to various saints. These chapels are filled with intricate statues, paintings and small altars. And they're not only beautiful, but they were used historically for private prayer and special ceremonies. As we walk forward, we reach the transept, the arms of the cross that intercept the nave. This is where the interior expands, giving the church its classic Latin cross layout, a hallmark of large Catholic cathedrals, and a design that draws your attention towards the sanctuary. Then, at the front of the cathedral is the sanctuary, the most sacred area. Here you'll find the main altar, adorned with Baroque decorations and ornate carvings. The canopy over the main altar is one of the more striking features of the sanctuary. It's designed to draw the eye and emphasise the sacred space beneath it. This one is richly decorated with intricate carvings, gilded details and statues supporting the overhead structure. Here's the Holy Door, one of a handful to be found outside of Europe. A rare gateway opened only during special celebrations for spiritual renewal and available for all religious faiths. The organ is one of the cathedral's impressive features, both visually and musically. It's a large pipe organ and it fills the space with a rich, resonant sound during Mass and special ceremonies. It's not that old, dating mostly from the 20th century, though it incorporates elements from earlier organs. Our next landmark is not far away. In fact, it's next door, behind a wrought iron gate that says it's a continuation of the architecture department that we visited earlier, being repaired. Through a small tunnel set into the whitewashed buildings, we will find the Petit Séminaire de Québec, which was founded in 1668 by Bishop Francois de Laval. He was, if you recall, the first bishop of New France, and it was a school to educate young men for the priesthood. The Cour intérieure, in a courtyard, is the central open space within the seminary complex. It's a rectangular and it's enclosed by stone historic buildings, and it was designed originally as a tranquil, reflective area where students could study, pray or stroll. At one end, a steep slope leads down towards what I think is university buildings, including a building that was dedicated to the first bishop of Quebec. This is the monument Cardinal-Taschereau, honouring the Archbishop of Quebec, who became a cardinal and shaped education, social programmes and the Church's role in Quebec society. This is Place de la Hôtel de Ville, the lively heart of Quebec City's upper town. Surrounded by historic buildings and cafes, it's where the locals gather for festivals, concerts and seasonal celebrations, perfect for soaking in the city's history and culture. Today we have a Halloween festival in full swing. Overlooking the scene, this monument honours the Christian brothers who dedicated their lives to teaching in Quebec. The bronze and granite sculptures symbolise the passing of knowledge and guidance to generations of students. It acts as a reminder of how education shaped this city. Nearby is the Jura clock, a gift from Switzerland to celebrate Quebec's 400th anniversary. Here we are at the 31st Anglican Cathedral in North America, which was completed in 1804. It's a neo-classical design with a very crisp, light facade, a tall steeple and symmetrical lines. It stands out in Quebec City's upper town, which is dominated by more flamboyant, historic French Catholic churches. The cathedral was built to serve the British and Protestant community after the British conquest in 1763. Step inside and you'll find bright, elegant interior with wooden pews, a simple yet graceful altar, and beautiful stained glass windows. Walking through, you can really feel the contrast it represents, showing how Quebec City is a city of layered histories and diverse traditions. It also houses a historic pipe organ, which has accompanied countless services and concerts over the centuries. UNESCO recognises Quebec City for its blend of French colonial history, urban planning and architecture. We have now arrived at the Place d'Armes in the historic heart of Old Quebec. This square has been a central gathering spot since the 17th century. Originally, it was used as a military drill ground for the city's defenders, which I guess is why it's called the Place of Arms. Soldiers once marched here and public ceremonies and announcements were held. Today it's a vibrant plaza lined with cafes, restaurants and shops where locals and tourists mingle and street performers bring the space to life. Of course, the Château Frontenac dominates the backdrop, creating that touch of grandeur, but more about that later. This square perfectly blends Quebec's colonial past and its lively presence. It's a must-see spot in the upper town. Place d'Armes flows seamlessly into Dufferin Terrace, one of Quebec City's most iconic promenades. From here you can head down to the lower town, either by using the scenic staircases to one side or by hopping on the vernacular which links the upper and lower towns. Stretching along the cliffside in front of the Château Frontenac, the terrace offers breathtaking views of the St. Lawrence River and lower town. It's named after Lord Dufferin, the Governor-General who helped preserve the city's historic fortifications in the late 19th century. Stroll along past wrought-iron bandstands, historic lampposts and benches, and you can see why this has been a favourite gathering spot for over a century. The terrace comes alive often with street performers and cultural events. It's the perfect place to soak in the history, architecture and culture and experience spectacular scenery all at once. It took me a while to realise that I'd arrived at the place I was looking for, the Governor's Garden. Just off of Dufferin Terrace, this quiet little escape overlooks the St Lawrence River. This garden dates back to the 19th century, was once part of the grounds used by British governors after the conquest. It was designed for strolling and reflection. And you can really feel that today with the shaded paths and the benches all overlooking incredible views of Lower Town. It's a calm contrast to the busy terrace nearby, a perfect spot to pause and soak up the atmosphere and scenery. Towering above it all is the Château Frontenac, the city's famous landmark. Built in 1893 by the Canadian Pacific Railway, it's designed to look like a grand French chateau with steep copper roofs, turrets and towering spires. It's truly like stepping into a storybook. The hotel wasn't just about looks, it was part of a large plan to attract luxury travellers and tourists to the city at the turn of the 20th century. Perched above the St Lawrence River, it doesn't just dominate the skyline, it defines it, blending history, architecture and cinematic views into one unforgettable symbol of Quebec City. Step inside and you're immediately immersed in a world of elegance and luxury. The grand lobby showcases tartan carpets or polished marble floors, glittering chandeliers and warm brass accents, all set against dark wood panelling in true French chateau style. Bellboys stand ready to assist, while small boutiques and shops line the corridors, adding to the sense of timeless luxury. It's both a historic icon and a symbol of Quebec's architectural and cultural heritage. It's hosted royalties, celebrities and even world leaders like Churchill and Roosevelt during World War II. Here you really feel the blend of history, luxury and breathtaking views that make this part of Upper Town unforgettable. Within the historic district of Quebec City, between Dufferin Terrace and La Citadelle, is Parc du Bastion de la Reine, a public park. It's open year-round and accessible at all hours. It's known for its spectacular panoramas over a number of iconic sites. The St Lawrence River, Quebec's Old Town, Château Frontenac, to name a couple. That makes it a really good spot for photographs. Occupying part of the sloped defence earthworks that went up in front of the historic Citadel of Quebec, it embraces the city's rich military and colonial history. When I was here, couples were challenging each other to race up the hill, walking, chilling, or just taking in the views. Whilst not a large park with extensive facilities, it's great for some time out during a stroll through Old Québec. We followed the path, and whilst we could see the citadel, it was separated from us by a moat. Eventually we came across an entrance and decided to explore.
One of the things we hadn't appreciated was that it was an active military base and that every day during the summer at 10 a.m. it held a changing of the guard ceremony with soldiers in traditional scarlet regimental dress and bearskin hats, just like back home. You can get guided tours to look around the base, which for us would have been 20 Canadian dollars, but we decided we have other things that we wanted to do. We departed from the Citadel and headed towards St. Louis Gate, a historic fortified entrance that is part of the Quebec City's old city walls, one of the rare European-style fortifications still preserved in North America. Our plan is to come back here tomorrow and explore a bit more detail. So our plan is to make our way back to Dufferin Terrace and then go down to the lower town area to take in some of the shops. We turned off of Rue Saint-Louis down a quite interesting looking street. Now this is one of the historic streets that runs through the upper town and it dates back to the French colonial period. It has cobblestones and architecture that reflect the city's European heritage, and there are also a number of interesting buildings that we found as we made our way along. Not sure what's going on here, possibly a furry fandom, which I understand is a thing, an entire subculture interested in animals with human traits. Members create them to represent or express themselves. We stumbled on the lower town entrance to the funicular, a charming way to reach the upper town without climbing the Frontenac steps. The street was alive with activities. Dating back to the 17th century, it was named after Quebec City's founder, Samuel de Champlain. It once bustled with traders, merchandise and artisans. Remarkably, it's weathered fires and the passage of time, preserving much of its original architecture. Today, the narrow street is a colourful tapestry of historic buildings overflowing with inviting boutiques, artisan shops, cosy cafes and restaurants at every turn, making it a really vibrant hub. A large trompe-l'oeil mural is pointed on the side of a building depicting historic scenes, architecture and the daily life of Old Québec. Blends real buildings with painted ones to create the story. It's easy to understand why this is one of the most photographed murals in Quebec. If it was raining, I'd know exactly where to come. It does make a colourful, if not something of an often used artistic statement. It's amazing, a gravity-defying glass elevator that's been scaling Cap du Mont Cliff since 1879. I could just stay and watch these two cars constantly passing each other. This area is like going back to the 17th century. All these quaint stone houses. This quaint passage between buildings just led back the way we'd come. It was originally a soldier's route to the nearby Royal Battery, hence the name. And here it is, the Royal Battery, built by the French along the river's edge in 1690 to help protect the city from attacks, particularly from the British. They then ended up capturing it and reinforcing it and expanding it to meet the British military standards, adding more cannons and strengthening the walls. It's now time to make our way back to the ship. We've done a lot of the attractions and landmarks that we'd marked to do, but we've left a few to do tomorrow. I guess you've got to put your used tickets somewhere. We are back where we started our city walkabout. Given that our hotel tomorrow is a little way away from the port, we decided that we would explore the port on our way back to the ship. We're in, I believe, the old port area of the city, and this is the Quebec Port Authority building. I believe it's also known as Trinity House, and it's a beautiful, historical, classic stone structure that fits perfectly with the 400-year-old vibes of the city. Nearby is the old Customs House, a once vital part of the city's commerce. Built in 1830, it was where customs duty was collected for incoming goods. Its neoclassical style reflects the economic importance of Quebec as a port city during that time. It really does make a gorgeous statement. This, would you believe, is a sundial, and a very accurate one, with the time being told by the shadows of the masts. Not seen one like this before. We're back at the drawbridge, waiting for it to close so we can grab the bus back to the ship. We are staying in port overnight, our final night of the cruise. Tomorrow morning we disembark with a car booked to take us to our hotel, where we will stay for a further night. But tomorrow we will continue our exploration of Quebec, a lovely city with a very European style.